Good day and welcome to the Engerati studio. We are located at the CTICC African Utility Week 2014. And we have Mark Ossel. Is that the right way to pronounce the surname?
That's perfect.
Yes. And he is actually representing Echelon, as well as OSGP Alliance. So you have quite a lot of experience in smart metering, especially in Europe. If we could perhaps discuss how that experience relates to your focus on Africa and what you wish to attain on the continent.
My pleasure. I got involved in smart metering about 13 years ago when a smart utility in Italy, Enel, had a visionary CEO and he wanted to move into smart metering. At that time, the word hardly existed. And we ended up partnering with them, developing the solution for the 27 million rollout in 4 years. It was remarkable because in those days, in fact, nobody believed there was a good business case. Most of the people in utilities and even meter manufacturers were considering only the meter reading for billing as a saving and not seeing the benefits in managing your grid. So Enel was the first basically to demonstrate you can have a significant business case and increase your operational efficiency if you use the meter as a sensor in your network. They were also the first one using power line communication massively to be able to, on one hand, communicate with all the meters throughout the day, but on top of that, get insight in the infrastructure. If you use power line communication, you basically are able to detect the topology of the grid, the physical topology, knowing which meter is connected to which transformer, on which phase a home is connected. So it helps you significantly in asset management. After the project in Italy, we moved on, and we basically have over 4 million meters outside Italy in Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Austria, more countries now embarking, implementing the same system. All the systems in Europe now, the large-scale rollouts, using power line communication, and most are using the protocol called Open Smart Grid Protocol, OSGP, because of the reason of performance, high reliability, being able to read nearly 100% of your meters every day, including all the load profiles, the power quality data you would require to manage your grid.
Yeah.
We now have moved into Africa as well. We already have, for some years now, quite some experience and projects in commercial property, shopping malls, where OSGP power line communication is used by various partners of us in South Africa to read the meters daily, do settlement, implement prepayment applications in a pretty advanced way where the common areas are measured, each shop is measured, and people can do upgrades and see their credits on the mobile phones and so on.
Right, okay. So it's not like smart metering is non-existent, especially in South Africa. I know that there are a number of projects. I think there is a mall in Johannesburg that has implemented it and it's doing really well. But what are the benefits of smart metering for day-to-day consumers?
Okay, good question. At the end of the day, everybody in the value chain needs to have benefits. The supplier, the retailer, the distribution company and the consumer. And even in fact generation. If you have better information, you can predict, forecast your load better, you can do better on the settlement market as well for buying your energy. What we've seen in Europe in some cases, that based on good communication, and I'm talking marketing communication, good education of consumers, there was one project, 50,000 people, where they could save on average 17% energy, 17, which is significant. And that was partly because of implementing flexible tariffs, making it a bit of a game. In fact, they could win prizes for decreasing their energy, providing the proper information, compare it not only to last week or last month, but also to the neighborhood. So you need a lot of information and give, in fact, incentives in your tariff, or they even had prices set for decreasing it. And they did it smart. They involved in the consumer not only the husband, but it was a family type of information.
Yes.
let's say, involving kids as well, making them aware, having programs for changing your bulbs to low energy bulbs, or making you aware that your old washing machine was using a lot of information, or a lot of energy, so you better out replacing that for a new one. And of course, you'll see now in-home displays or the mobile phone as a user interface,
Yes.
where the user can see his consumption. He can even control consumption by switching off some of the loads when tariff is high, when big tariffs are being applicable.
But that's what smart metering really is, isn't it? It's a two-way communication, because consumers aren't just consumers anymore. They're almost partners in the energy industry. You know, they need to
producers.
help. Yes, that's right. As well as producers.
Producers.
Yeah.
So you'll see the meters now today measure as well what somebody will feed in to the grid, and that can be settled with different tariffs than what you use. But that at the same time causes significant trouble for the utility distribution company, because if all kind of people are feeding in energy from the solar panels or from the heat pumps, the voltage, for instance, will go up.
Makes it very unstable, doesn't it?
Exactly. Frequency, voltages become challenges for a utility to manage, and normally in today's world utilities have no clue, no measurement on what's happening in the low voltage grid, and I'm sure have no capability of controlling it. So the new smart grid means the meter becomes a sensor informing the utility at the transformer level what's happening in that given area, so that even applications already at the edge of the grid, at the transformer level, could run and address those issues which appear in the given area.
Yeah.
So you're not going to do it out of wherever, no, in the area, decentralized generation, decentralized usage, but also decentralized control.
Right. I mean, you know, you were just saying now that people are, you know, the producers, there's a lot more self-producing consumers now, where they're producing their own power, feeding it back into the grid, using their own power. And that's happening a lot in Europe, and there's a lot of energy communities being developed within the European space. The UK, you know, there's a lot of change there at the moment. Spain, Germany. Where do you see this going? Is the utility planning for this, with people perhaps maybe even opting to go off the grid altogether once energy storage solutions become cheaper and there are more to choose from? In your opinion, where do you think it's going to be heading?
So decentralized generation and decentralized management, so call it microgrids, and where then the solar panels, the heat pumps, as well as the electrical vehicles all start to play a role. Storage is increasing in efficiency.
That's it.
And will play a role decentralized as well. So the whole grid will change dramatically, significantly in the next decade. We see it in Europe, but also in Eastern Europe. Some countries are promoting it. Governments are subsidizing, for instance, solar panels. We see now we have projects in the Middle East where significant investments are done, despite the amount of oil they've got, but in alternative energy sources as well.
It's going to run out eventually, I suppose.
One day they will run out of oil, so they better start using less, even today. So it's all over the globe now where the awareness raises and people start to understand as well that the business case is there from an asset management point of view. Significantly for a distribution company. Most countries, the distribution companies have the responsibility for smart metering, and that's a good thing that the meter then becomes an asset in the whole financial model. But of course, in some countries, non-technical losses play a vital role.
Especially in Africa, South America,
Middle East, even in Eastern Europe. I was in Turkey last week. There is areas with 70% theft. Big time. That
must hike the prices quite significantly for the consumer.
Good business case, but a bit scary to go there to install the meter. But if once you install it, it's okay. So non-technical losses, revenue recovery can play a big role in some countries, in Africa as well. And then of course at the same time, it creates an opportunity to give more people electricity by implementing smart systems, smart prepaid systems, even in rural areas.
Yes, you were discussing the small communities will have the opportunity to access grid
Yeah.
well, to electricity, grid electricity.
There are significant, of course, number of people in the world without electricity, and I think today's technology is coming to a point where there are solutions available, really physically in a container, containing the solar panels, the storage, and then roll it out in the community of a few hundred homes, giving everybody a meter, a smart meter, to measure the consumption of energy based on prepaid schedules. But the beauty of that business case is it has come to the point that where if you compare for the individual consumer what he pays right now for oil, for gas, for candles, for candlelight, the smart energy container type of solution can be offered for the same price to the consumer.
Which is great to know for these consumers who just simply cannot afford electricity. It's good to know that they can actually afford it if they are comparing their usage of the other fuels.
Absolutely.
So it is becoming more affordable. Okay. As far as smart grid and smart metering is concerned, where do you see the African continent heading?
Well, we see
what
a
are your
great
hopes?
pickup right now. We're getting many inquiries as the OSGP Alliance, from companies requesting information on the protocol. We see more meter manufacturers embarking on implementing this protocol as well. In South Africa, Conlog just joined the OSGP Alliance. The other members like RMS and PMT have already sold systems in Africa, but Conlog, with their prepaid experience, is a nice company to have as well. But we see now more inquiries from all the countries across Africa, where the utilities as well as business people see the opportunity. It's the time to go. There is a business case right now, and there is no reason to lose. There is technology available which is proven, reliable.
Provides energy efficiency, cost saving mostly.
Well, it's good to say, because although there is a good business case, the return on investments you can calculate, make the sum, are okay. The financing of projects is still sometimes a hurdle, where the utilities don't, or the municipalities don't have the money up front, and you need finances who basically trust they will get the money at the end of the day, while there is a good business case.
Okay. And then just my last question, bankability of these projects. Are these projects perhaps not being presented properly to the banks and to investors? What is, it's obviously a good business case. It's obviously something really good to invest in. So
I think that's a learning curve, a bit of education to utilities, to be honest, as well as to the financiers. That where they initially look only at the cost saving for the billing side and the reading of meters, and they neglect or don't know yet the benefits in asset management and cash collection or addressing non-technical losses. So if you put that into the equation, they will start to understand the business case is quite positive.
Let's hope that learning curve improves with time, since there's obviously plenty benefits for the African continent.
Absolutely.
So we're missing out on a great opportunity here, clearly. So, but thank you once again for your time. I hope you thoroughly enjoy the conference. I can't ask you too much about it because it's really only just launched. But thank you very much. Perhaps we'll catch up later and we can do a follow-up after the conference and see what your thoughts are.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at the studio. Please note that there are a number of interviews that we are doing throughout the two-day conference. So please feel free to have a look at all of them. Thank you.